Okay.
All right, well,
Beef.
welcome to beef. We've got the best 3 cuts for you. We've got a steak, we've got the good old-fashioned hamburger, and we've got a prime rib roast. It's massive. Now, the beauty of beef is that when it's on the barbecue, it's the perfect thing for the barbecue because all the fat drips off, it lands on the lava rocks or the grill plates, whatever you've got, and it just releases this amazing smoky flavour. And it's just the best and most even way to cook a big piece of beef is on the grill.
Yeah, but the tricky part, though, is beef is really all about doneness. That's how you can screw it up. And the worst thing you can do is overcook it. The second worst, but not so bad, is undercooking it. But if you're going to do one or the other, undercook, you could always put it back on. Right?
Slap it back on, exactly.
Slap it back on. So that's a good way to learn, is experiment by judging your timing, by taking it off. Maybe, I usually find if you take it off earlier than you think you should, it's about perfect.
Turns about good.
Yeah, exactly. So what have we got? We got steaks here. This is a good example of a perfect grilling steak, and actually some of the options for cuts. What we have here is, in the middle, is a porterhouse or T-bone, very similar. The porterhouse has a little bit bigger, this half, which is exactly this. This is the tenderloin, or otherwise known as the filet mignon. On the other side of the bone is a New York strip. Now, it's actually exactly the same cuts of meat, except for the bone's not in. Now, the tricky part with T-bones or porterhouses is the bone's in there. It doesn't quite cook evenly. So strip loins or New Yorks or tenderloins or fillets are perfect for the barbecue because there's no bone, they cook really easily and consistently throughout.
For more information on the whole cuts of meat thing, our local butcher, Peter Black, nice bloke, he's going to let you know about everything you need to know.
Everything you need to know. So we're going to do a couple of New York strips. I think it's a perfect guy steak, really. Not so big as the T-bone or the porterhouse. It's going to cook a little easier, and it's going to taste great. And the simple way to do it is the best. It's sort of the classic recipe. It's my dad's recipe, I think. Steak sauces and stuff like that, you know, really, why would you do that to a really great cut of meat? It doesn't need it. Just the simple, basic stuff is the best. And most chefs will tell you that the simpler, the better. It lets the real flavor of the meat come through, which is what you want. So all we're going to do is take our 2 New Yorks here. And we've already put some olive oil on both sides, just a light coating. But you got to make sure you use high-quality extra virgin olive oil. And all we're going to use, really, is coarse salt and ground pepper. Now, you want to use coarse salt, not table salt, because table salt is so fine it'll just evaporate and dissolve instantly and it won't even last. So you want to use a really big, thick rock salt. I think you got to be really generous with the salt and pepper. I like mine actually really, really spicy. So they're pretty much ready to go for the grill. Simple, simple, simple. And that oil, again, will keep the steaks kind of moist and juicy, and they won't stick to the grate when you go to flip them. And they're ready for a really high heat grill.
Now, the next part we need to talk about before we start sticking the meat onto the grill is prepping the grill. Now, this is a very, very, very important part. Most people skimp on this stage, right? The best thing you can do is you've got to have your grill on for at least 10 to 15 minutes of preheating. Now, the reason why we do this is because you need to basically hear that sound. When you stick the steak on, you need to have it kind of going off, because I've been to so many barbecues where people, like, they just basically turn it on, stick the steak on, and then wait for it to heat up. Really bad for the steak. It's going to make it tough, and it's going to make it lose a lot more of its juices. So the best thing to do here is you just lid down, all the burners on high, and you get it cranking up to around about 500 degrees. We're a little bit over, so it looks like we're ready to grill. So before we get going, we lift up the behemoth lid. That is really hot on a day like today. And we've got to prep the grill with vegetable oil. Now, the best thing to do is usually use a towel or paper towel sometimes. We've found just recently that paper towel does come off onto the grill. So you put a liberal amount of vegetable oil and you just wipe it straight over the grill. If it's too intense for you and the heat, use a pair of tongs. Right on. So that's now ready to start putting our steaks on. Now, this is a job for direct heat grilling. Now, if you noticed before, when I was prepping the grill, I put on vegetable oil on the grate. Now, the reason for that, so I'll show you right now, is we stick all of the steaks on facing the same direction. Hear that sizzle? That's right. So in about 2 minutes' time, you turn it 90 degrees, and what that'll do is that'll give you that really cool crosshatch on that side of the steak. Now that's been about 2 minutes, I think. So, and now what we got to do is wait for little beads of blood to come to the surface, and that will be one side done. Now for a 1-inch steak, that's around about 5 minutes. For a 1.5-inch steak, it's around about between 6 and 8 minutes. So let's just wait for those little blood beads. Okay, I think we're just about ready. Look at that. There's beads going onto the surface. So now we're going to flip it, and you keep the same rotation again. There we go. Check out those crosshatches, huh? You should let that grill for about another 2 minutes, and then you do exactly the same thing. Rotate at 90 degrees, another 3 minutes, and they're done. Scott!
What you want to do is just turn it once and never, ever cut into it to test doneness, because all that's going to do is let all the moisture and the juices flow out of it. Now, one way you can tell, which will help you out, is by the internal temperature of the meat. And there's a little trick that will help you out to do that. Greg?
Now, there's a couple of different methods of doing this. There's the press test, where you press down and you actually feel the firmness. Now, the softer it is, the rarer it is. This one's going to be a nice rare steak. And the other way of doing it is with these handy-dandy meat thermometers. Now, they're quite easy. You just got to stick them right into the gut of the steak that you're cooking and then press the little thingy bob, the button. Now, according to this, it's rare. Perfect.
Now with beef or anything that's been cooked really high heat like that, the high heat draws all the juices to the center, so you have to let the meat rest. And that'll allow the juices to come back to the surface, and it'll make it a nice juicy steak when someone cuts into it. So about 5 minutes, even 10 sometimes. So take it off the grill, set it aside, kind of come to the table and get organized, because that takes a while, and then everyone will enjoy a really nice steak.
So that's it. That's how to cook a perfect steak every time.